Welcome everyone to today's webinar. We do a couple of webinars a month. Some of them are overviews of ClubExpress for people that are new to ClubExpress or are considering ClubExpress as an association management solution. Some of them are deep dives into particular features. Some of them are role-based. We did one recently on ClubExpress for treasurers or ClubExpress for member managers. And we have one coming up in a couple of weeks on ClubExpress for webmasters. And every so often, Dan does a webinar introducing version releases, new features that have been implemented or are about to be rolled out. And today is one of those. So before we get into that, let's take care of a little bit of housekeeping. All of the phones and microphones are muted, so questions should be entered into the chat window. And we will revisit the items in the chat window to see if there's anything that needs further explanation. And this is particularly useful for those people that are watching this webinar as a recording. And speaking of recordings, all of the webinars and tutorials are recorded. And one of the ways you can get to them is by going to clubexpress.com, clicking on the Cool Stuff link at the top of the page, then on the Webinars tab at the left side, and you'll see a schedule of upcoming webinars, and you'll also see the recorded webinars. Similarly, above the Webinars tab is a Video Tutorials tab. And if you click on that, you can see some of the recent tutorials. You can also get to them through the help system. And all of our videos are actually housed on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you're viewing one of them on YouTube, you can click on the subscribe button and optionally on the notify bell so you can be notified whenever new content is published. So Dan, I'm going to stop sharing and let you pick it up here. And Dan, it's all yours.
Well, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon if you're on the East Coast or points further east than that. As Alan said, this is the introduction to version 10.3. We announced version 10.3 on Friday, and almost everything that we announced has been deployed. It turns out there's, I think, one feature that's still waiting on some testing. The items that we're going to be talking about today: email deliverability, an update to the member directory, some new features in the event calendar. There's a bunch of additional items, and then we're also going to talk about something that wasn't in the announcement on Friday, but it turns out it's ready to go. So I'm going to mention it. It probably won't apply to most of you, but there'll be certain clubs and associations running on ClubExpress that might be interested, and that's our point of sale system integration. So let's go on to the next topic, which is email deliverability. We've spent a lot of time working behind the scenes to improve email deliverability. You know, people have said to us occasionally that when you send out blast emails using our emailing function, and with certain email service providers, sometimes those emails end up in a junk folder or a marketing, materials folder. And we want to make sure that do everything we can to make sure that the emails that you send out end up in somebody's inbox. So we've made a fairly significant change behind the scenes. And the way that change works is that if you have a domain name that's pointed to our name servers and you send the emails from an address that's hosted by ClubExpress, for example, president@myclub or .org or my domain, whatever your domain is, then the emails will come from myclub.org instead of mail2.clubexpress.com, which is where all of these emails came from in the past. And our understanding is that as that relates to how the domain is configured behind the scenes within the name servers, that small change gives us a much better chance of having the email delivered to the inbox. If you send the email from a private address, like dan@gmail.com, something like that, then we'll still send it out from mail2.clubexpress.com. That's the sender domain. And there, we're going back to the way things used to be. Now, if your domain is not pointed to our name servers, you need to define an SPF record that authorizes us to send email on behalf of that domain. And so for any of you that don't use our name servers, but use your own name servers, and then you're pointing to our IP address, .71, you can contact our customer success team, the support team, and they can send you the text for an SPF record that you would add to the name servers for your domain. And that then authorizes us to send email on behalf of your domain. And then again, the previous rules apply. Now, right now, I want to point out that this applies to blast emails only. We've not yet made this change to system emails like renewal notices or payment confirmations. And we also haven't made the change to discussion forum emails, but those are changes that we will make. We want to see if it really makes a difference. So we're going to wait for a month or so and see if we more consistently hear from people that the emails are arriving correctly. And then once we do, we can make this change to system emails and discussion forum emails. So let's move on to the next topic, which is the member directory. We've made a significant change to the appearance of the standard member directory, and especially the biz cards that appear underneath the search panel. We tried to make them more modern and more appealing. When we were reviewing the designs internally, our chief design officer came up with about 4 or 5 different designs, and we were talking backwards and forwards, and we couldn't decide which one we liked the most. And so eventually he said, well, why don't I just implement all of them? So that's kind of what he did. So let me switch back to our demo club. This is the Northwest Balloon Club that you should all be seeing right now. And I'm going to go to the membership directory. And when I do a search, you can see that we have, one of these new designs here, and it's vertical oriented cards. The photo is in a circle, and then the contact information is immediately underneath. And there it is. But I can go to the edit screen for the standard member directory. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you'll see now the 4 different display options right here. Here is a redesigned card similar to what we had before, with the photo on the left and the information on the right. Here is the one that's the vertical card that we have right now. The third one, you'll notice when I hover over the card, the information appears below. And with the fourth one, when I hover over the card, the information appears on top of the card. So for example, if I change to this design and then click Save, the options have been saved. Now I need to rerun the search. And now you'll notice that the information appears underneath. And so we get much more of a sort of a photo album look with all of the people listed, and we can then see their information as we hover. So those are the different designs. Again, let me show you the different options that we have here: a horizontal card, a vertical card, and then 2 designs that just show a grid of images, and the contact information appears as you hover over. Let's go back to the directory. Now, of course, with all of these cards, if you click on the card, we will jump to the bio screen just as we did before. Now, the other thing that I want to point out is that whatever design you pick here for the standard member directory, the same design will be used in the committees module. So if we go to the committees module and I go to the board of directors, now we see the same thing here. So here's the board of directors, and again, we have the same concept. And also the interests module. So those of you that use the interests module, here are the interest categories. We can jump down and look at all of the interests within the safety category. And when I click on rules, we jump over, and we're going to use the same design over here for this module.
We have a question. If you've paid for a custom directory, will these contact cards be displayed to these directories? And if not, is there a charge for this?
Well, that's actually the last bullet point on the screen there. This is available for custom directories, but it won't switch over automatically. What we can do for a custom directory is that if you pick not all 4 choices that you can change at any time, but if you pick one of the designs, then for a one-time fee, it's probably going to be a couple of hours of work. But for a one-time fee, we can then change your custom directory over to one of the new designs. Over the last, 14 years or so, we've probably built over 100 custom directories. We usually call them finder modules if they're on the public side of the website, because they allow the public to find members. But sometimes they're on the members part of the website because you want to have special search criteria. If you're in a large retirement community, find all the members who play pickleball or who go bike riding or are in the photography club, that sort of thing. So we often have these custom directories. And as I said, we can switch them over. Just contact the support team and let them know that you're interested, and they'll forward it on to me, and we'll work out the details. So let's go to the event calendar. We've made some additional changes to the event calendar. One of them is that we now have capacity support in quick events. So let's go back to the event calendar, to our demo club, and I will go over to the event manager. And as you know, we have regular events. They can be single activity or multi-activity events. We have notifications, which is just something that appears on the calendar. It may include a link, but it is not actually an event in the calendar behind it. And then we have this concept of a quick event. And a quick event is a simplified event. It doesn't have questions. It doesn't have a release agreement. It doesn't have multiple registration types and things like that. The idea is that you can create everything for the event on one screen. But we had a number of clubs that came to us and asked us to add support for capacity. A cycling club, for example, might have a lot of rides, but you can really only safely support, say, 10 or 12 people on a ride. So we've now added support for capacity. When you click yes, we now have the same capacity options that we have for regular events. You can specify the capacity. You can say whether you want to show it or not, and whether you want to show how many slots are available. So a fairly straightforward change there, but one that I think a lot of clubs and associations will appreciate. And the other thing that's also related to capacity, when I go back to the calendar itself, on the search panel, we now have a new option that will only show events with available capacity. So again, if you're one of these cycling clubs where you might have 60 or 70 events a week with different groups riding at different speeds and different distances and things like that, and each one of them has a capacity, you might only want to see those events you could actually register for. So when you check that box and do a search, it will show those events that have a capacity limit and have space, and it will also show events that don't have any capacity limit, which means as many people as are interested can sign up for those events. On the profile event history screen, we will now include waitlisted events. So if you've registered for an event on the waitlist because it's full, and you go to your profile event history screen, you'll now see those waitlisted events. And the other change that we made is one that specifically applies to our multi-tier clubs with separate websites. So many of you know that we have two different options for clubs and associations that have, a hierarchy, districts, regions, a top-level club of some kind. The one we call option one is where there's only one website, one set of member types. Everybody joins at the top level, but they could be assigned to a chapter or a district. And then the other one is what we call option two, where there are multiple websites. Every organization at the lowest level has its own website, its own member types. People join at the lowest level, but there might be a higher level organization that people are then by default a part of. So a district of some kind. So those of you that are with the League of Women Voters that are using ClubExpress, that's basically the model that you follow, where each of the local leagues are independent and have their own website and database. And then there's the district or the state at the top level. And again, that's what we call option two. Now, a couple of releases ago, we added support with this option two, where if you're on the lower level website, you can create an event. And if it's just a committee meeting, well, that's for your chapter only. But if it's a lecture or a guest speaker, it might be of interest to the whole organization. So you can flag that event to be visible on the top level calendar, and then it would appear automatically. And similarly, if you're at the top level and you've organized an event, you can flag that event so that it appears on the calendars of all of the lower level organizations. We added that feature a couple of releases ago, but it turned out we never updated the upcoming events widget. So we've now done that. There is a widget that you can place on your homepage or on a custom web page that will show upcoming events. And it now includes events which were created at the other level and which are flagged to be shown. And again, that works in both directions. So if you put the widget on the top level website, it will show all the lower level events that are flagged. Similarly at the lower level website. Let's look at a few other enhancements. we've had a text editor that we were using throughout the system for many, many years. It was a big and powerful, very highly configurable text editor that a lot of people found pretty daunting and fairly complex. So we've actually replaced that text editor with a newer and simpler one in about 12 places throughout the system. And let me just show you a list of those. If I go back to the announcement for version 10.3, so in the following places, we've replaced the old text editor with a newer and simpler one. So the standard member directory bio, and let me just show you that, for example. If I go to my profile and I edit the standard member directory, you can see as I scroll down, here is the bio, and this is the new and simplified editor right here. And it gives me the ability to insert images, insert links, do some fairly complex formatting, but really the idea was to give you the options that are appropriate for the sort of data that you want to enter. Similarly, if I go to the control panel and I go to additional member data, and I want to enter, do you want a writers list? Here is the same editor, because when you're specifying the text of a question, you're expanding the database, you want to ask the members a specific question, you don't need huge amounts of complex formatting. So the idea is to give you an editor that gives you the type of formatting that you actually need. So that's the member directory and business directory, additional member data, the question text, and then all of the other places where we use the same questions. So surveys, ad hoc forms, collectibles. You can see some of the others that are listed here. I think we got them all, but if it turns out we didn't, let us know and we'll certainly update the others. Now, this editor is also available when you're working on your homepage or a static web page, but there we've also kept the option to use the original editor, because when you need really complex formatting and you're an experienced designer, you certainly want to have that option available. When a quick link is used, it's now retained in the browser bar. So let me show you what that one means. A lot of people don't know that we have this really cool feature in ClubExpress that we call quick links. I'm on the website tab and I go to domain names, quick links, and redirects. Scroll down, and here are the quick links. So the idea with a quick link is that you can create a short word of some kind that you can use to jump to anywhere on the website. It can be an interior page, it could be an event, a donation fund, a document, a photo album, whatever it happens to be. There are some built-in system quick links. You can tell people we've got some cool upcoming events. Type in myclub.org/calendar and we'll take you directly to the event calendar. myclub.org/blogs. And these are ones that we've created. And it's a very simple process. You specify the link destination, and the link destination can be any of these options here. So what this means is that instead of seeing this big long link here up in the address bar, I could type in Chicago, and it will take us directly to the page for the Chicago chapter of the Northwest Balloon Club. Again, instead of switching to that much longer format that you saw before, here is this long format. This is fairly common on the internet, but some people don't like it. So we now retain the quick link format if it's one that you've used. The page builder for static web pages now includes a copy-paste function. This is really cool. And it was something that we wanted to build when we first deployed the page builder, but we just didn't get the time to do it properly. So let me show you how that works. When I go to custom pages, and let's do a search, and I'll scroll down to, let's say, ballooning for kids. Let's pick that one. And so here is the page builder that many of you have seen. And what I'm going to do is select this piece of text. I'm selecting a cell, and there is a new option down here that says copy. So when I click on copy, I've now copied the contents of this cell into the page builder clipboard. So the page builder now has its own unique clipboard. Let me go to row templates, and I'm going to drag over a new cell. And when I select that cell and I get the list of widgets or things that I can place in that cell, we have a new widget here called the paste widget. And when I drop that in, are you sure you want to paste this in? And I click OK, and there is the text that I just copied in. So it's really, really simple to use. Basically, you'll use this tool to rearrange your page. If you decided you don't want upcoming events here, but you want, I can select upcoming events, click copy, go down, select this cell, click widget, click paste, drag paste in, and there's my upcoming events widget that I've moved to a different place within the page.
Note that also when you have something in the clipboard, right below the copy, there is a paste. So you don't actually have to go to the widgets. Go to the cell.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Missed it completely. All right, there it is. Now, the other thing that's very cool is that this page builder clipboard works not only within the same page, but also across pages. So if you make a bunch of changes to a page, save that page, go back to the user interface and pick a different page, now you can actually move content from one page to another without having to retype it or go into the underlying HTML or anything like that.
Not surprisingly, in the comments, we've got a hooray, a thank you, and a great addition. So people are as enthusiastic about it as we are.
Good to see. Okay, the last thing that's in this list of other enhancements is gift memberships. When we introduced gift memberships about 6-7 months ago, it turns out there was a specific circumstance that we didn't think of that took a while for this to appear, and somebody told us about it, and of course we had to address it. So let's say you have a membership. Well, you have different options. So you might have a $30 membership and a $50 membership. And so somebody gives you a gift membership for $30. So you have the coupon code that goes with that gift membership. You then sign up as a member and select various options. And when you get to the payment page, the total that's there is $50. You apply your coupon for $30 and the balance is $20. And if you pay it by credit card on the spot, everything is fine, no problem. But what happened was we had someone who then decided to print an invoice and pay by check, and they mailed in a check. And when the administrator came to the payment page, the balance that was sitting there was $50, and they didn't have the coupon number. So if somebody needs to pay by check or cash, we needed to have the coupon available after the fact so that the admin could reapply it. So now the gift code is shown on the pending payment page to the administrator when a check or cash payment is made for an outstanding balance. So the admin will see the coupon code, they can apply it, and then they can record the check payment for the $20 balance. If the person who's joining also prints an invoice, the coupon code is included on the invoice. And the other thing I want to mention is that this feature is actually not yet deployed. We're doing some final testing on it. And so we expect that to happen maybe at the end of this week, but more likely early next week. So gift memberships is right here on the control panel, and it allows you to see all of the gifts that people have created and to manage those memberships as well. As a member, when you go to your profile screen, you have the option of creating gift memberships. So here I'm Martin Smith. I can create a gift. And in case anyone hasn't seen this before, I figured I'd show it to you because it's a really nice feature that you can make available to your members. So I can say I'm sending a gift to first name, last name, email address, phone number, and is this a mobile phone or not? My information is filled in, and then I can say, here is the gift amount, and I can pick one of the predefined amounts that the club has chosen. I can say when the gift should be sent, and I can include a message. Congratulations on the new baby. Consider this wonderful All right, so the last thing that I wanted to talk about, we have a number of clubs that are running on ClubExpress that have a restaurant or bar facility or a snack bar, for example, a lot of sailing or yacht clubs, some golf clubs, the swim and tennis clubs might be interested in this. They've been asking us for a number of years to integrate with a point of sale system. Now, our policy is that if you have one of those clubs and you want to be able to manage the charges for the restaurant or bar or snack bar through ClubExpress, that you had to have your own merchant account. We've partnered last year, as many of you know, with Stripe. So what we were looking for was a point of sale partner that also partners with Stripe, and there were 2 or 3 of them. And we found a lovely company called adme.com, and you can see the link there. And so over the last couple of months, we built an integration with Adme. And the way that works, that's specifically for restaurants, bars, or snack bars, Adme has a really interesting model. They can actually have a unique QR code that sits on every table in the restaurant, or that sits in front of the bar or the snack bar. And people can then use their smartphone to scan that QR code, and the menu of available options then appears on their smartphone. They pick the items they want, and if it's a restaurant or a bar, a few minutes later, those items get delivered to that particular table because each QR code is unique. It's like having a little number on a stalk sitting at the table. They also, of course, support portable point of sale devices like a tablet. Most restaurants nowadays, people walk around with a tablet. And they also support registers, a computer that will show the menu and the table layout and, the old style restaurant layout as well. They integrate with Stripe. Now, the way the ClubExpress integration works is somebody will enter their member number. And Adme will then call over to ClubExpress because each location links to a specific club. They'll call over to ClubExpress with that member number, and we will then come back with that person's name, their email address, and of course, and their membership status. So we're verifying their identity and status. If it's a restaurant or bar at a yacht club, you want to make sure that that person's an active member. Because if they're not an active member, they can't run a tab. You want them to pay on the spot. So if somebody comes up to your table or comes up to your chair at the bar, you might have a membership card. You might give them your member number. You might give them your name. And you can use all of those methods to actually verify their identity and status. At the end of your meal, or when you've finished the 19th hole drinking, the option is there if you want to run a tab or if you want to pay on the spot. If you pay on the spot, then what Adme will do is they will send the transaction as a miscellaneous charge over to ClubExpress and will record it in your transaction history as a miscellaneous charge, and the description will be point of sale charge. And if it's a tab, then that's all we record. You've got a pending payment, and at the end of the month or at the end of the week, the club sends you an email that says, log in and make your payment. If you paid on the spot, then Adme will also send over the payment information, and we record the payment as well. And the reason why that they collect your email address is so that the actual receipt of what you purchased will be emailed to you directly. So there's no paper involved in any of this. You finish up, you get an email receipt of what you purchased, and then it matches the charge within ClubExpress. And again, for those of you that may not have seen this for a while, when you go to your profile screen and you go to your histories, here is the transaction history. So what you would see here is a miscellaneous charge, and the details of the charge would be whatever it says here, which is point of sale charge. And if you go back here, there's also your payment credit history. So if you've made a payment, what you would see here is the payment, and the payment type would be paid through a separate system because you've paid through Adme. The transaction is processed using Stripe. The club is using Stripe. So it all sort of integrates together. So if anybody is interested in doing this, we will charge a one-time setup fee of $200 to configure things at our end. And then what you'll do is you'll work directly with Adme. You'll tell Adme that you're a ClubExpress customer. They have a whole sales team. You work out with them how you want to do things, whether you want to use QR codes or POS devices or registers. And then there's a whole training process. They show you how to configure the layout of your room. They show you how to configure your menu, all of those different items. If you haven't already got the Stripe account, they'll help you set it up, or we can help you set it up, and then you just connect. It's the same Stripe account that ADME will use and that you'll use on your ClubExpress website. So it all ties in together, and those clubs and associations that are interested in having a point of sale system, that'll be available. We're very excited about that integration. Okay, so those are the things that I wanted to show you. I guess let's turn it over to Sam now to see if there's any questions that we haven't addressed already in the chat window.
We didn't have a lot of questions that weren't addressed in the chat. One of the members asked if you could demonstrate different views of the event calendar, list view versus grid view, and then the search options one more time.
Oh, okay, sure. If we go to the event calendar, here is the standard grid view. And you'll notice all of the events on the grid view are color-coded by category. And you can configure whatever foreground, background colors you want for the category.
And they're available on the legend, which people don't even know is there.
Oh, you're right. There's the legend. I forgot to mention that. And of course, this is our demo club, so there's a lot of junk in here and a million different categories, but there it is. And of course, we have notifications. Here are the notifications that appear in this particular font. We also have list view. So if I select list view, there are 4 different options for list view, and I think the initial default is month view. So we're in month view right now, and here is April, and we can use these navigation buttons to move forward or backward month by month. I can also select week view, and so here is the week, and now I can move forward or backward a week at a time. I can select day view, and here I'm moving forward or backward a day at a time. And I also have future view. And future view basically shows every event from today onwards. Let me also show you that you can specify the default starting view for each club or association. So if I go to the events manager and then go to configure and event defaults, the option that we have here is default calendar view. There it is right there. And you can pick grid or any one of the list views. So if I select month and then click save, it may actually go to the last view that we had. If I was to close the window and then open it again, it would start out using month view. Now, the search panel is right here. And it appears and disappears, appears and disappears. And there's a whole bunch of search options. You can include or exclude certain categories. You can show events at the chapter level if you have chapters. You can include or exclude metro areas if you're using that feature. And then you can filter by title, by description, by date range, and that capacity option that I showed you earlier. And the other thing that a lot of people are not aware of is that a lot of these filters can actually be applied on the command line. And that's all documented in the help system. And I can show you that in a moment. But where that feature is really useful is if you have chapters and chapters have their own calendar. So for example, you might have a sub-website within the main website where the Chicago chapter has all of their information. And they might have a link that says, click here to view our upcoming events. And when you click that link, you can jump over to the calendar and it's pre-filtered for the Chicago chapter. So I could, wherever the Chicago chapter is, I guess it's in the Midwest, under Illinois, and there's, the Chicago Metro. And if I was to do a search and there were upcoming events for that chapter, it would be pre-filtered. And just to show you where that is, in case you're interested in exploring those, I go to the event calendar.
So if you scroll so right now you're looking at the event calendar instructions for users because you were on a user side. I
Right.
actually inserted the link in the chat for creating custom calendars, and that is under ClubExpress modules. Oh, yes.
There it is. And creating custom calendars. There we are. So here are the custom calendars, and you can see various codes that we use. So here is an example. So you would say page ID is photo, club ID is that, and MA is 25. So that's metro area 25. Here's another example. You can say MA plus EC. So metro area 25 and event category EC. And there are also exclude options.
It's basically all the same options that you have in the search panel, where you can say, show me everything except committee meetings, or show me committee meetings and technical rides, and any categories. It's very, very useful.
Here is event category list, the metro area list, and you notice they have both allow and block options, and then the subgroup allow and block options list. And by the way, all of these ID numbers are available within the system. So, and I go to club and metro areas. When you look at the metro areas, we include the ID numbers in parentheses. When I go to organization data, if you have chapters, we include, here is a region, here is a district, and here is a chapter, and we include the ID numbers after them. And the same with the event categories. Here are the ID numbers for the event categories.
Well, this feeds into another question that we had that related to the quick links. And the question is, well, can you put a quick link onto a menu? And using a URL like Dan just described for a filtered view on a calendar, you would take that view and then you would add it to your menu, your drop-down menu for your members. Say, I want to see this particular view of the calendar. So there's two things to note about that. One is when you go back, in addition to setting up quick links in the control panel, when you're configuring a particular module or even particular documents, there's often a quick link box on the configuration page where you could just create the link right then and there, which is quite nice.
Right, let me show you that very quickly. If I go to custom pages, you see the list of custom pages, and I click on the wrench icon right here. There is the quick link thing that Alan mentioned. And it's the same for photo albums, works the same way. There's photo albums. And it also works the same way on the configure dialog. So for example, if I select events, there is the quick link text that's available here on the configure dialog.
Okay, and so now the question is, well, how do you get this onto a menu?
Okay, the answer is a little bit more complex than straightforward, let's say. You can't directly put a quick link on a menu, but what you can do, you create an external menu link. So for example, I could say Chicago chapter, and it could be https://clubexpress.com Chicago. And I could say same window, a new window, click save. Same menu text is there already. Chicago 2. Yep, there we go. Okay, so once I've created that, then what I can do is I can go to the submenu, go to the chapter pages, and here is Chicago chapter 2, move that over, click save. And now I've added that to the menu. So you have to create an external link first. And the external menu link option is used if you want to jump to another website, you want to jump to Google or whatever it happens to be. So that's how you would do that.
There was another question about something that you mentioned that people are not all that familiar with, and that is the gift memberships. I wanted to mention that in a couple of days, we will have a gift membership tutorial available. That's being finalized now. We did a webinar about it a couple of months ago, and the question was, Say you wanted to give someone a gift membership that's not for someone in particular, as what this gift membership mechanism is done, but in a way to use for funds for any person or perhaps for any purchase or event or whatever. And in that case, you should take a look at the discount coupons module. We have tutorials on that and webinars on that, because that will let you apply discounts to memberships, or maybe you're raffling off discounts for membership. You don't know who they're going to. The advantage of the gift membership approach is it's only for memberships, and it handles all of these emails back and forth. It's very, very nice. But the discount coupon could be for a membership, but it could be for renewals or event registrations or storefront purchases. Very powerful. You can do single-use coupons. You can do a coupon that can be used multiple times. You can make multiple codes that can only be used once. Lots and lots and lots of capabilities there. So you have a lot of tools at your disposal.
Yep, you can see all of those options there that Alan was describing. Okay, what else do we have?
I think that about covers it.
Okay. Well, I wanted to thank everyone for joining us for this one. We probably won't have another version announcement for 2 or 3 months. The dev team is diving into some fairly major projects, but the work continues. It never ends. So we're working on some pretty nice enhancements that I think you'll all get a kick out of. So thank you for being ClubExpress customers. Don't forget to contact our support team if you have any questions. Talk to Sam if you're interested in individual training, because Samantha does a lot of that for us. And stay safe, everyone. Thank you.